Hey guys, it's Kayla back again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I care about very much, and that is how I graduated debt-free. This is going to be a two-part video. This first part is talking about my own personal journey, and the second part is going to be tips and advice I have for everybody else going through this journey who wants to graduate debt-free. If this video can only help one person or a handful of people figure out how to go through school with no debt or less debt than they would have, then making this video is worth it to me, because I am very against the current situation in education, the prices of tuition, the prices of books for courses that are requirements. I'm frustrated about all of these things. The majority of my friends I grew up with, the friends I have now, have student debt, and it affects people their whole entire adult lives. And it doesn't matter what job they get afterwards, they're still paying off these huge amounts of debt. It affects how much, it affects if you can afford to buy a home. It affects if you can buy a new car. It affects when and how many kids you can have. It affects how much groceries you can buy every week, and I'm against this. I am all for people making smart decisions and for making the best decisions to have a greater quality of life. And the current student debt situation in our country, and I guess around the world too, is completely affecting Gen X, which I'm a part of, and the millennials. Most of the people I know in my life have over $50,000 in student debt, and it's just not acceptable to me. Growing up, I knew I did not want to be a part of a statistic of having massive debt before I was 21, 22. I did not want that for my life, so I made the conscious decisions to not have that be in my life. So if I can spread that out to other people, then I will be glad, because I do not like to see the suffering of people around my age bracket. And I'm not trying to paint it as that these decisions are forced upon everybody. Every individual needs to make smarter decisions. They need to question what they really want out of life and not be scammed by certain schools and fall into society's agenda of what they should be in life. Because I'm all for independent study and for taking courses, and not everybody is meant to go to four-year universities. There are people out there who need to go to trade school and be electricians, be welders, be hairstylists, be, a tradesperson. They don't need to be an accountant or financial analyst or an engineer. For those people, it's a complete waste to go to a four-year university and to rack up debt. So anybody watching this who doesn't know me personally, I came from very humble beginnings. All throughout grade school, I would have been considered lower middle class. I came from a single parent household. I never really had any influence or was told what I was going to be when I grow up, like some parents out there tell their kids, you need to be a doctor, you need to be a lawyer, you need to be whatever. I didn't have that. I had complete and total free reign over what I wanted to desire out of life. So growing up, I really never knew what I really wanted to pursue in life, what I wanted to be. For boys, it was a common answer to say that they wanted to be in the military, they wanted to be a firefighter or a cop. And for girls, a common answer would have been like, I want to be a ballerina, a teacher, a nurse, something like that. In my 5th grade yearbook, it was a special yearbook for just the 5th graders, because we were graduating from 5th grade going into middle school, and we were asked questions like, what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food, what's your favorite song, and what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was the only one out of like 150 kids who answered, I don't know, I just want to be happy and I want to be rich, because that's all I knew at that point in my life. I wanted to be happy, happier than I was. and I wanted to not worry about money. It's so funny, if you go and look in that yearbook now, I was totally unlike any of the other kids. I listed a show that none of the other kids listed. I listed that my favorite color was black, which only boys wrote down that black was their favorite color. And I wrote down my favorite food was tacos. I think maybe one other kid wrote that their favorite food was tacos. When I was about 13 or 14, my mom came out and said that I would have to figure out college myself. She wouldn't be able to pay for college, let alone contribute to tuition. And it really put a fire underneath me, inside of me, both, I guess. And I started questioning what I wanted for my life, and I tried to piece things together to make sense of what my life should be. So when I was 14, I started taking college tours. I was the only, at that time, 8th grader going to these college tours. And I gotta thank my mom for saying this to me, because it, she saved me a lot of suffering later on by being upfront with me and not playing and saying that I needed to figure this out for myself. Going on these college tours helped me figure out what I wanted out of a college education, what I wanted out of a college campus, and it allowed me to ask students questions and things along those lines. When I got to high school, I, at the time, had thought I wanted to be either like a pharmacist or a doctor, but unfortunately, I wasn't in love with science. I was, especially not chemistry. Chemistry was extremely difficult for me. No matter how much I studied, no matter if I had a tutor or not, I just had a hard time with chemistry. So that really put a damper on, especially for me to be a pharmacist. I completely ruled out being a pharmacist. I still had interest in being a doctor. After shadowing doctors and talking to doctors, becoming friends with doctors, it became more and more apparent to me that I did not want to become a doctor. I knew 40-year-old doctors who were still paying off their student debt. And I knew that I likely wouldn't be able to get scholarships to pay, 4 years of undergrad and then 4 years of med school. So in my mind, it just wasn't worth it to me to become a doctor. And business and finance was always something that I was interested in, so that was always a safe choice for me to pursue. So the further I went along in high school, the more I decided upon that business and finance was what I was going to pursue in college. Once I got into like 10th, 11th grade, I knew that I was really over school. I knew that I did not want to be in there from whatever time school started until the end of the day. You get in the bus, you go home. I wanted more than that. I was over waiting for other students to pipe down and be quiet and let the teacher talk. So I talked to my guidance counselor about options to graduate early and things along those lines. And fate took me to a different state in the middle of my junior year. I moved to Florida in my junior year. And in Florida, they have early enrollment. My GPA was high enough. I had enough high school credits to apply to the early enrollment program, and I was accepted. The early enrollment program allows high school students to be at community college full-time. I didn't have to step one foot on my high school campus my whole entire senior year. So senior year of high school, I was a college student already. And the county that you live in pays for your credits, and it pays for the books that you need for your classes. So I had 2 semesters worth of college completely paid for by the county that I lived in. The only time I did step foot on the high school campus that I graduated from was to pick up my high school diploma. I literally drove my car there, went to my guidance counselor, picked up my diploma, drove away. During my junior year of high school, I also took AP English, and I got a 5 out of 5 on the English AP exam, and that gave me the college credit for English 101 and 102. So I didn't have to take that in college since I earned the credit from taking the exam, which is great because who really wants to take more English classes in college? Not me. After officially graduating high school, I decided to stay the second year at community college, and I graduated with my associates in business. And it was super easy to transfer with your associates into a state school, so that's what I did, and I finished my bachelor's in finance. Now, when I was at community college that second year, financial aid covered everything for me. It covered the credits and it covered the necessary books and things like MATLAB. I think for the accounting class, I had to have this big workbook, and financial aid covered all of that. When I got to the university setting, the state college, my financial aid covered all of the class tuition, but I did not pay for books and materials. So I started renting books. Some kids in my classes were sending out PDF versions of the books needed for classes, which, you can decide whether or not you want to do that for yourself. So I was very fortunate that I never once had to take out a single student loan to pay for tuition to be allowed into my classes and things like that. All throughout my second year of community college and then my junior and senior year at the state college, I always made smart financial decisions. I lived on $20 a week in groceries. I lived at home. I was always a commuter student. My mom lived together all the way up until my senior year of college. I rarely went out. I rarely bought new clothes. I didn't even go to my college graduation ceremony because I thought it was a ripoff to pay like over $100 for something that I was going to wear once, and I really didn't care about walking on the stage to pick up a diploma. I had my diploma mailed to my address and framed it, and that was the end of that. I need to make a point here that growing up, in high school and entering the college scene, I did not change around my major. I stuck to finance. I did all the background research of what careers were going to be around when I graduated college, and I knew that college wasn't going to be a party time. I was committed to working hard and not partying, and if you're getting ready to go to college, if you're in high school or you're in middle school, if you're younger and you're watching this, don't choose to make college a party time because you could be doing so much more with your life. It's good to have fun once in a while, but even when I was going to school, a lot of those kids who lived on campus were choosing fun over making smart financial decisions. It was more important for them to have fun than to make a future for themselves. To everybody out there who's watching this, who wants advice, my biggest piece of advice is if you're interested in taking a gap year, take the gap year. If you have things that you know that you're interested in and want to pursue, reach out to the leaders in those fields. Ask them if you can shadow them. Ask them if they'd be willing to go out for a coffee with you so you can have a conversation about what it's actually like to work there. See if you can get an internship during a gap year. See if you can get an apprenticeship. Because when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you're probably still not going to really know what you're going to want to do. And there's so much more to learn out in the real world than there ever is in college. Don't be afraid to take courses on Coursera or other apps, or take courses like the Engineered Truth one that he has with Seth to learn digital marketing. Don't be afraid to pursue a business that you're interested in. Follow your dreams. Follow your dreams, but make informed decisions. Don't just blindly go into college without knowing what you want to do in life, what your dream is. Because that is a trap. That is a trap to make you a corporate drone for the rest of your life. You don't want to graduate and, whatever age you are when you graduate and have 20, 40, 50, 100,000, more than 100,000 worth of student debt and say, wow, I really actually don't want to work in this field. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be a financial analyst. I don't want to be whatever. And have all of this stuff sitting on you and forcing you to follow this narrative that you don't truly want to follow. No matter what college or university you attend, they're not going to teach you all the skills that you need to be successful in the job force or in your own business. My finance program didn't even teach us Excel, which you need to be successful in finance. They all expected us to just know it. And I had to take courses outside of college to know what to do. And most of the kids didn't ever learn after graduating the program, and a bunch of them don't work in finance. And this is the same narrative in many different programs of people I've talked to, that they don't teach you what you need to know. They're 5-10 years behind current industry standards. They're teaching you things that are 10 years old and not relevant anymore. So you're going to have to take courses outside of your college, university, no matter what. So don't be afraid to make real mentors who are actually successful in life, in whatever industry that you're interested in. Don't be afraid to learn on the job. Don't be afraid to take courses outside of the university setting, because you're likely going to learn a lot more and have more skills to apply. In my next video, I'll be talking about tips and advice of how to graduate debt-free, or at least how to reduce the amount of debt that you have or will end up with. So be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss that video, and to follow me on all my socials so you never miss out on future video announcements. If you like this video and found it helpful, be sure to give it a like or share it to another person who might like to hear about how I went through college debt-free. And if you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave it down below. I'll get around to answering you. And other than that, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.